IVM.
There's a quick survey to fill out on ivmpodcast.com/survey. It lets us know a little bit more about who's listening to us. And you know what? We're going to do a few prizes. So, we'll do a random drawing of maybe 10 people and we'll send you all some swag. Remember, that's ivmpodcast.com/survey where you can fill out the survey.
My neighbors have an 8-year-old daughter who attends a dance class after school and then also comes home and practices. Whenever I see her practice, I'm reminded of my own childhood. As we grow up, our passions are often left behind as we work towards securing the financial futures of those we love. In our show, A Sip of Finance, we often talk about these financial responsibilities. Now imagine if you could still work on your dreams while someone took care of your financial responsibilities. करो पूरे अपने इरादे, अपनों से किए सभी वादे. SBI Life अपने लिए, अपनों के लिए. Log on to www.sbilife.co.in for more details. IRDAI registration number 111. Welcome to SBI Life Insurance presents A Sip of Finance by Priyanka Acharya. SBI Life Insurance, अपने लिए, अपनों के लिए. If you usually use your right hand to write, try to write one page with the left. If you are used to sleeping on a soft mattress, try sleeping on the floor for once. If you're used to eating bland food, try a super spicy dish once. Now, if you are used to planning finances just during that Christmas break or just during the financial year end or only when you're supposed to submit tax declarations, try to set a regular pattern of finances with the woman of the house as the in charge. Welcome to SBI Life Insurance presents A Sip of Finance podcast by Priyanka Acharya. I'm your host Shanali and this is a lady special podcast that will help you get better with your finances. Conceptualized by Priyanka Acharya, a financial consultant who simplifies a lot of financial jargon for you. She comes with 14 plus years of experience in this field and has helped many grow their money. So, you can now learn simple finance not just in English but in 7 other languages. Let's get started. Is it an adventure? Is it a silly change? Whatever it is named, usually it is completely out of a family's comfort zone. Now, if any of you just thought, no, not at all, that's how it is in our family. My, give yourself a super pat on your back because you're as rare as the Kohinoor ka Hira. We say we are modern, we are liberated. But like I shared in my last episode, when it is family finances, we tend to go back to our comfortable conventional practices. In fact, many times unintentionally too. A few years back, I was conducting a family financial discipline session for a group of police officers. During an interactive activity, one officer naturally popped out his answer. He said, "Why should my wife know about where I've invested or insured?" Believe me, I was startled by his comfortable confidence. I actually had to pause and think what would be a good enough statement to melt his rock-solid conviction of this thought. I asked him, "Do you want the money to lie unclaimed in your absence?" This is all I could think of at that time. And the story isn't over yet. He said, "Why unclaimed? She will anyway take out all my belongings and may get hold of the documents too. She will ask anyone." There are so many financial advisors, madam. She will take anyone's help and do the needful. What is the hurry in telling her everything now? I gathered some confidence to get him out of his comfort zone and made an attempt. "Sir, that's right. But don't you think it may lead to mis-selling or undue advantage? I just want you to imagine the emotional trauma your family must be in your absence. Today, in normal circumstances, what you say sounds easy. But with a twist of trauma, it will be the most difficult task to get the papers together, go and find out in which office which paper is to be submitted, which is online, which is offline, and so many more things. And honestly, friends, I was actually afraid. Is there any section under the law where he will arrest me for arguing with him? Just as self defense, and to obviously add a stronger layer of cement to my thoughts, I said, Sir, I respect you and your role towards the society. I also know that you're thinking this way because more than 95% of families are thinking this way. It's not your fault. However, just one last thing. You are a police officer. Even if you're in your civil dress and you come across a wanted criminal on the road, you know exactly what to do. You neither need a uniform nor do you need any big plan. You know when and how to take action. But if your wife is in the vegetable market and she spots a criminal you have been chasing for ages, will she be comfortable enough to take the same action? Phew, I was a little more relaxed this time. And let me happily tell you his answer. He said, Madam, thank you. I never thought of it this way. After 2 days, it is my wife's birthday. I think I will gift her my financial documents and explain all of it to her. Thank you, madam. There were claps and smiles from everyone after that, and I still get goosebumps when I reminisce about it. I salute this officer, and I wish all of us could think this way about our family finances. Basically, I hope we all take small steps to get out of this comfort zone when it comes to family finances. Well, that's why this podcast is called A Sip of Finance. And yes, let me tell you the twist in this tale. There was one more officer who quietly heard everything and also clapped hard after what I had to say. But after the session, while I was happily having a sip of police station chai, he walked up to me and said, Madam, thank you for this session, but there is one personal issue. I once tried to explain to my wife about finances, but she said, Don't involve me in all this. I have so much to do at home. Now don't increase my work more. I don't get all this. It is your duty, so just do it. Now what do I do? Women, now this is where interdependence comes that I mentioned in my last episode. Imagine your loved one gifting you a collated version of all the efforts he took so that your future and the family's future are happier. Well, I want to talk more about this in my next episode. So, in today's Sip of Finance, here's a small action plan for all of you. Just imagine, and hey, this isn't an affirmation, okay? Just imagine if there is an unexpected situation and the family doesn't know what you have done. Will they be able to handle it the same way as you would have? That's a wrap on this episode of SBI Life Insurance Presents A Sip of Finance podcast. We will see you in the coming week. Thank you for tuning in. If you found this podcast helpful, do give us a shout out on social media and tag us. It will help us empower more people. If you want to reach out to Priyanka, she is available on Instagram at Priyanka U Acharya and on LinkedIn as Priyanka Acharya. You can listen to this podcast on the IVM Podcasts app, website, or wherever you get your podcasts. Do follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. See you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to SBI Life Insurance Presents A Sip of Finance by Priyanka Acharya. SBI Life Insurance, अपने लिए, अपनों के लिए.
Hey, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On The Habit Coach, Ashton meets Devangana Mishra. She is the CEO and founder of Brain Bristle. At this Autism Awareness Month, they discuss how we can understand autism better. The Simplified hosts ponder over how form dictates content, whether it's going from CDs to streaming or blogs to Twitter. On Voices for Water, Karthik talks to Dr. Veena Srinivasan. She is the lead of the Center for Social and Environmental Innovation. they deep dive into the importance of investing in water waste treatment. On Say No to Drama, Chetna tells us why work friends are essential and how they influence our overall performance. And on All Things Policy, the Takshashila folk analyze the implications of China's genetic resource guidelines. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Also, don't forget to rate us on any of the platforms you're listening to us on, including the one you're listening to us on now. And also, please do check us out on YouTube. We have a number of channels. They're all available on ivmpodcast.com/YouTube. We're also doing a small listener survey to help us understand you, the listener, better, and how you like our shows, how you respond to the advertising, and so on. We'd really appreciate it if you could spare a few minutes to fill it out. It's at ivmpodcast.com/survey. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors on the network this week, SBI Life Insurance, India Water Portal, and Jupiter, a digital banking app. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Have you ever wondered where the business world is headed? How the ways in which we create, market, and sell to consumers will evolve? Or if we'll ever go back to wearing pants while working? For answers to all of this and more, tune into Advertising is Dead with me, Varun Dugirala. Every Tuesday, as I talk to entrepreneurs, leaders, and change makers from across business, media, marketing, and beyond. You can catch all episodes of Advertising is Dead on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcasts from.